Welcome to today's live. Interesting topic today, and I chose the topic of witches and wizards for this today's live. And why? Why did I choose it? Because I think at this point I'm quite comfortable with the a name of a witch, or being called a witch, and calling myself a witch in the best possible way there possibly can be. And I was asked during my magical healing retreat, because I do talk about magic, and I talk about it a lot in the sense of like the most normal way, the most logical way there is, because I think I practice magic on the daily basis now. And so I was asked, like, what does it mean when you're a witch, or like how can you become a witch, or what is it doing witchy things? And that was like so interesting to me, because to me it is about like a natural evolution of yourself and of awareness and of self-responsibility, that you just remember you're a witch or a wizard, and we are all capable of these things and of developing these skills that are, let's say, magical, or when we use these words as if witchy things, that it might seem, I do understand that from the outside it might seem that it's something special, something super shiny, and something super like unrealistic, almost untouchable, and something that's outside of us. But today I want to only clarify this, maybe, or remind some of you that it is the most natural way to develop some skills that for someone can be seen as like impossible and natural, and it comes along with the awareness and the sensitivity. Okay, developing the sensitivity. And this comes along the topic I talked about yesterday, which is fear and intuition, which the more we learn to listen to our intuition and follow it, and the more we learn to understand our fear and not let it hold us back, but let it protect us, obviously. And with the intuition, same way, let us be guided by it and listen to it and take those steps that it invites us to take in order to get to where we want to be. Then with this development of the intuition and being aware of it and listening to it, we do step by step develop a bigger, like a higher sensitivity to things. I think that if some people call themselves, or that is a topic that's been discussed, I think, lately, or at least in my bubbles, that there's something as highly sensitive people. I personally think this is a development. Yes, we can be born more sensitive maybe than others. That's possible. And we can have a different starting point, as we always do. In each life we have a different starting point. But I am pretty sure that this is like again a decision, as everything is a decision. And you are the one who can develop the higher sensitivity as long as you go. Because being sensitive and feeling and feeling connectedness and feeling something like more than the physical body, which is something beyond the energetical world, that is a natural state for us again, and it's a very natural skill. So in that situation, in that scenario, when we come back to the natural state of ours, things like mind reading, or future seeing, or predicting what's about to happen, or hearing what is not hearable or not supposed to be hearable, hearing different frequencies or tasting a deeper taste or having a more sensitive smell to things. Okay, so these are all things that are natural to us, and they can manifest as a pain in this life if we have decided on some level that it wasn't safe for us to have these skills because the surrounding wasn't inviting it. Okay, so it wasn't okay to know what's gonna happen because that can be scary. It wasn't okay because that's the intuition. If you become sensitive, you can feel things are about to happen and big transformations for someone, or someone is gonna leave this. And looking back, you always know you knew, maybe, and the more you develop it, the more you are able to work with energy. Okay, you can do hands-on healing, you can do craniosacral therapy. It's a good example where, yes, at some point this can seem like a very crazy thing, and it's hard to understand and grasp it by the mind, by the logical mind. So that's why at first we reject it before we experience it ourselves. And the rejecting it is an activation also. It's a trigger, it's an activation of the fact that we are also able to have that. Okay, whenever we don't understand something that someone's talking about and it triggers us as that's absolutely insane, stupid, that doesn't exist, that's a great activation that it is actually possible for us to also have these skills and these abilities, and we just follow the guide if we're ready, when we're ready, and we can develop these skills along the way. And it is the most natural thing. And then on the daily basis, you are creating magic. You're manifesting what you want if you become aware that that's your natural state, and that being aligned and being okay, feeling good, being happy, being hello. Interesting you joined for this topic. I'm not surprised. Thank you for being here. And so being aligned and knowing the more that is there, it is a natural state to you, and it can be the most simple thing. And as I will also again connect it to migraines, the manifestation of some pain in our lives, or the migraine in this case, is the suppressing of the sensitivity of these magical, let's say, abilities. Okay, and it was supposed to be like that because there was no other way. We weren't in a safe environment to express our witchy superpowers. We weren't educated to be aware of our biggest superpower, that is the breath, for example. There's no really factual explanation for the breath. In the end, you cannot explain the source of the breath that connects us to all, and that without that, where does it come from? Without that, we can't even exist. Okay, so the way that it's been manifesting, okay, because I'll explain this, that I do call the migraine your higher superpower and your biggest superpower, even if you choose to see it like that. And your task then, if you are ready to see it as that, because until it is the most annoying and painful, just no obstacle, until it's a problem and obstacle in your life, obviously you will not be ready to see the other side of it. But at that point, when you're ready, okay, this is happening for me, it is my such strong power that I have suppressed. That's why it can be so painful, because there's so much power. Can't be live for the whole thing. Will this be? Yeah, it will be. I'll save it on the profile, don't worry. Okay, so that the strong power that you have had, that's important to mention, that you have had the strong power for that whole time. Okay, having power and being the creator of our life and being the witch, that's our natural state. That's the natural power we have. Okay, and we have learned to suppress it because it was not safe for us. And as much as the pain manifests, as strong as the migraine is, the more happy you should actually be in the beginning of the journey, obviously, because that means how much power you have, and then layer by layer you learn to understand and learn to create a safe environment for yourself to be yourself, to be able to talk about these things or use them or create that magic for you, and to even be able to love yourself and understand how much more you can love yourself the way you are with all the power you have been given. That's a natural state, okay? So the power that we have comes with also the responsibility of knowing how to use it. But if we don't know how to use it, then we have to learn, and that's okay. And that's where you get a guide and you can get a coach, and you can be, that's why the guidance, for example, helps us, because we all know all the stuff. Again, how I mentioned yesterday, we know what's right for us. We always know what's the right solution, what's the right decision to make. We know what actions to take. We know what to do. Inside we do. We know that it's not right for us to suffer in pain, in days and days of pain. We know that. But how to see it another way, if we've been in this pattern for a very long time, that might be the tricky part, and that's where the guidance helps us, and hearing about it helps, and talking about it helps, and questioning it and analyzing it. Obviously, when you're analyzing it in the active state and you're connecting to it, and you are trying to figure it out, or like want to be a witch or want to do witchy things, then it's, again, you are disabling the natural flow, disabling the natural understanding of the layers. What are they telling you? Because there will always be individual, there will always be your story, your background, your past lives. It will always be different than anyone else's. So in the end, the only one who needs to understand and develop the techniques that are right for you is you, okay? And the same way, the witchy superpowers, let's say, okay, the breathing techniques are applicable to everyone. I do think that, and they are a good starting point, or meditation or guided meditation, but not for everyone the same things work. Okay, so you can't go and be able, maybe, or at one point I think you are able to develop any skill you want, okay? But for example, mind reading, or someone's gonna have a better predisposition, better combination, and is gonna enjoy more energetical work, and someone's gonna enjoy more the guidance of other people or talking about it, or someone's gonna enjoy more staying more in the background and doing guided breathing work, or different kinds of release, how to work with yourself. And through learning how you work with your pain, for example, you develop these superpower skills and the something more, okay? Through healing yourself, you then can heal others and guide others, okay? If you haven't experienced it to some extent, then it would be nonsense for you to talk about it. Like, I have found a lot of wisdom in the pain, but I have learned how to feel through it, and then it disappears, okay? Then I no longer have to have it in my life manifesting as pain if I choose it manifesting as power, Okay, if I develop it, manifesting as power, but at the starting point, I did need to go through it and feel through it, maybe even let it get until a certain crucial point, because that was my way. Okay, I just didn't see another way at that point than suffering, for example, okay, or suppressing the pain, because that was the best I could do. We always do the best in each situation with the tools we have, with the understanding we already have, okay. So now I'm at a completely different point where the pain manifests during some transformation maybe, but I no longer need that intensity, because I have learned how I can also substitute it with the release and relief. And I have practiced a lot of breathing exercises, and on a daily basis working with my energy has become a part of my life. And then it changes, obviously it invites you, because you no longer need to, for example, agree to something that's not aligned with your values. Okay, so there's no need to agree to anything, but that will be step by step. If you have created a world where pain and suffering was the only way, that was your truth, that was your reality, and medication was there to somehow help get you through, that's completely okay. And that the whole witchy topic seems extremely like not here for you, okay. And especially if you're already here listening to this and you are like ready, or you are no, if you're prepared to listen to this even, then you're already ready to develop these skills. That's the very important thing to know, because often we like realize, and at the point of realization, it is not only the great thing that we have realized, but I do believe that in that instant of the realization, that is where we already have what we want. Okay, so we realize what we want, and at that instant we have it. But for it to manifest to real life, it will take time. Let's say it can be instantaneous, but it will take time for the nervous system of our body and of our mind to develop new pathways and to develop new habits and to change the way it was functioning, because the coping mechanism of the pain was the only way. And then this can be substituted by rituals, by guidance of others, work with others, because you have learned how to work with your own pain, and trying different things, okay, like which all the witchcraft is basically only about trying different things. And the way we see it in the films, there's nothing can be based on nothing, okay. So there's no way that all we are surrounded by the super films and futuristic films and sci-fi films. There's no way, and we all know it deep inside, that there's like we are able to create something like this because we know there is something like this, okay. So you always, when you come back to yourself and ask yourself, what is the truth for me right now at this moment, okay. So one time your truth was only pain and no space for the responsibility of admitting you are punishing yourself or harming yourself, because with that punishment you are protecting yourself also from what is not safe for you. It wasn't safe for you to express yourself fully. It wasn't safe for you to sing or to dance or to say things that for you, they were clear to you, because always the new generation will see, that's like to me the natural evolution, the new generation will see things clearly. So as you see the things clearly, it will always be triggering to the previous generation who has learned to suppress that, for example. Okay, so in our lifetime, we first learn and adapt what was through our ancestral line, for example, because that's the natural way. We are surrounded by some education, by some guidance, and that's what we adopt, and that's the starting package of our lives, and this is what we get. And then, of course, with the transition of becoming adults and independent and becoming or being ready to take, or maybe not even ready, but at that point where we do become responsible for ourselves, then of course we pick from what we have had, from the patterns we have created those patterns based on that guidance, based on that education, and that's okay because we didn't know any better. That's the way we have developed. We have chosen those parents, the best guides, to also show us the weakest points. That's why the closest people only to you can trigger you most, because they are meant to trigger you. They are meant to activate you. Without this activation, you would have never changed or questioned anything, right? And so then you take this starting package and you start like going through the things and questioning them naturally. Because does that have to be true for me in my life? Do I want this to be part of my life? Okay, it doesn't matter that, yes, it has been a part of all the generations before. Pain was a normal coping mechanism. It protected us from saying the wrong thing and being accused or burned like a witch, actually, So it was a life-protecting coping mechanism. But then it's up to us that maybe there's more for us. And can we have more? And why not? And why yes? Okay, so it is a natural evolution. If the term of becoming a witch is something that's calling you, or a wizard, then yeah, welcome it. Welcome these questions. Welcome it to trigger you. Okay, welcome it to be annoying to you. That's what are they talking about? That's not important. I don't even have time for that. Okay, that's a good first reaction, because that's the reaction you have. But allow yourself to search in this topic and see what is there for you. If you're not gonna start dancing around the fire and creating rituals, that's okay. Maybe that was never meant to you. You should never be forcing yourself into something. But maybe you are already visiting your past lives, or you are already just having some kind of rituals that work for you, or you just become aware of your energy and how you're using it. Maybe you are wasting more of it to sources where it doesn't come back to you, where the exchange is not harmonized, where the give and receive isn't balanced. And this is a big sign for a migraine, for example. It is a big imbalance, okay? What's happening? Yay! That was nice. That was magical. Okay, so it's always going to be about achieving the balance, and I can tell you that migraine is imbalance, okay? You don't have to be feeling it, but slowly it's up to you to see what you can feel. And if you haven't, for example, felt any release of tension from your body, if that just wasn't, if the tension and like cloaked and like close and like was the coping mechanism, that's how you have learned to work. That's how your mind learned to work. That's how your body learned to work. Your soul, all of you has learned that coping functioning mechanism. And then if you're about to change that and invite more of freedom, because with witchiness and with with allowing there is something more, and that energy that we can't see but then can develop. Okay, at that point where you feel it, then you're like, sure, it is real, because all of it will work. All of the self-healing techniques works if everyone was aware of their breath throughout that day. Trust me, there will be way less pain, way less dramatic situations, way less like energetical debt, because migraine also is an energetical debt, where you have learned that it's okay for you to give more than you have. Okay, of course the energy will always restore itself and it will come back. You come back from the migraine sometimes, if it's in the best cases. It can go on even for weeks. A migraine can go on for weeks and months, trust me, been there. But it doesn't have to. But you do need to understand that the imbalance has to be restored into a different balance, right? So it can't just go away and leave and give no wisdom with it. For example, okay, every release and learning of release of the tension will come back with some realization, with some understanding. So the mind will be crazily trying to figure it out, but that is the natural way. It will never just leave without, because it would be empty. Okay, if it left without the realization of there's something more, of the higher understanding, where you are and are not really supposed to direct your energy and attention to, then it would be for nothing. And why would we be here, right? This is a life experience. The whole thing here, it's a human life experience, and we came here or chose to experience it. Okay, so that the same way we learn how and what we want to experience. We learn what we want to feel and can feel. Where can we move the limit to? Okay, because we can always choose what we want to feel, how we want to react to that situation, and therefore we transform if it's even gonna be happening. And this is the magic, right? We don't control. It's not with control. You can never overcome, because it would be overcoming your own power. You need to understand that the migraine inside is the concentration of your power. And by force and like frustration and wanting, there's the ego saying, I want it to leave. I don't want this pain, okay? But with power, you can't overcome power. With concentrated power has to come release for understanding, for invitation of more, for change, transformation, for invitation of something else. It has to be replaced with something else for you to feel. Because if you have never felt relaxation, then the body doesn't even know how to do it. The mind doesn't even know how to be relaxed, how to allow the flow, how to not grasp on mind, on thoughts, okay? Because the analysis can be neutral, as I talked about this also yesterday. The analyzing and learning can be a superpower, or it can be a victim mode of self-punishment, okay? It can become a painful experience, what can also be a natural flow, because we need to receive wisdom in order to be and create and be aligned with our doing. Okay, but we are beings and it is our primary purpose, but the doing, we need the doing, because we did come here to experience different things. So we can never grasp onto some certainty, because the change is what we need. We need to renew ourselves. We need to question our patterns to be able to change them, because as we go on through with life, we need different things. We need different abilities. We need different understandings. Okay, because always we're in different phases and we are going to be doing different things in our lives, and we're going to be wanting different things in our lives. So you can never even waste your time, because what you were doing, how you were coping before, was the right way for you. Okay? And at this point, there's another right way. So this is the right way now. So don't force any routines, for example, if it's not natural to you. But then, yes, do develop it if it's calling you, if it's here for you. And you can develop it and then come back to what works better, or you can develop it more. But really know that the abilities are inside you always. Okay, so whatever is calling you, then you are able to develop it, because that is your natural state. The power is inside you. The love, everything you need is inside you, and you are able to develop it whenever is the right time for you, and you will know when the right time is. Okay, so thank you for being here, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.